This is going to be another video, but mainly about transitions this time. So the first thing I'm going to do is go Command N, bring in our sequence, and then I'll drag one of our files in, keep the existing settings. I'm just going to drag this down because I don't need the audio. And then I'll bring in the next clip as well. So I can Command plus up to see these at a slightly bigger size. The first one, I'm just going to cut it in a few places. So Command K, I'll move along a bit further. Command K again. So I've got this. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have this, and then when it hits this one, I'll go on my effects and I'll scale it a bit. And I'm going to give it a wee bit of rotation as well. Just so there's a point of difference there, and then it jumps back to normal. I might just oops, I could have just used the roll for that. Okay, it's better. So I'm going to go to effects. I'm going to pop open video transitions. I'll go to dissolve. I'm just going to use a cross dissolve. When I pop it in there, if I click on the cross dissolve, it's going to come up with some stuff up here. There's the thing actual source, so it shows you the source. You can also play the transition. I'll show you what's happening. At the moment, it says 1 second. Let's have a look at that and see how it plays. It's a bit fast for me, so I'm going to go 0.0. Oh, sorry, 0.15. So that's going to be 15 frames. Turn, it says it's at the center of the cut. You've got other options, but I'll play it and see how it's looking. It's a little bit fast, so I'm going to go 0.07. Remember, I've got the J and K keys, so I can hit J to go back, L to go forward. Okay, that's a wee bit better. I'll get the cross dissolve again and chuck it at the next one, but this time I'm going to go really short. I'm going to go 0.02. Have a look at this. Okay, so it looks like it's flicking, but it's just a little wee bit of softness between the two images. Minus it down a wee bit for you to get the arrow tool, and I'm just going to have a look at that. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to select all, push it up to the top there, and that's just so that when I go back to assembly project, I can chuck the image in the background that's called flicker. I'm going to go R, which will let me drag that timer out a wee bit, and I'm just going to switch the eye off so I can see how fast it's flicking. Okay, so that still seems pretty good at the moment. Now I'm also going to cut this one, so I'm going to go Command K, and I'm going to get a different effect now. So I'm going to go back to the effects, get another transition. This time I'm going to get a wipe. Oh no, I won't. I'll get a slide, and I'll use whip because what that does is it gives like a blurry kind of image. So if we look at this and remember, you can play it, see how it's kind of blurring. That image at the moment, that seems pretty good. So I'm going to leave it a second and we'll play it again and have a look. Great. Okay, so we've got the image up above, and I probably should have done this before go through, because now I have to do it to them individually. I'll get the ultra and I'll drop it on here, and I'll just whip through and do this pretty quickly. We should be getting used to this by now. And actually, I'm just going to leave that one. As far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. I'm not even going to go into the alpha. I can see that it's got a little bit of funniness there, but nothing that's going to affect things too drastically. That's pretty good as well. The play head along so I can see it actually. There's a tiny wee bit of green coming in on that one. So I'll knock it out. So we should see our images in the back. And so now I'm going to try a different kind of transition over the top. With this one, I'm going to go back to assembly. I'm going to get that same image and chuck it in, but I'm going to have it a little wee bit off. Now this is, if I get the V key, I can move it. So at the moment it snaps. I don't want it to snap exactly to these cuts. So if I switch the snapping off, I've now got the ability to really fine tune when it comes in. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the green screening again. So effects, ultra, drop that on so we can see what it's going to look like over top of the other image, and then we can kind of slide it back and forth if need be. So with this one, I am going to go in and just check the alpha on it and do this one a little more properly. So the highlights, okay, so they're down, the shadows, I don't think I'll even go any further than that. That seems pretty good. Composite. So now we've got this and this one over the top. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to talk about here is track matting. So if I go back to assembly, I've got this thing here called brush. And if I drop that over the top, what it is, and this is, oh, I'll have to zoom in to see that one. It's actually a Photoshop file. It's this one's a PNG, so you can see it there. It's just a big black brush stroke. Minus it down a wee bit. And so for this transition, I'm going to shuffle it around a wee bit. So if I click on it, I can double click and then I can move it physically with this brush. So I'm going to bring it in there, and I'm going to go to the effect controls, and I'm going to key the position, and I'm going to key the scale. Now, if I, and actually I'll just need to make sure that these back at the beginning of that clip. So it's going to start there. Now, if I move to the end, I'm going to scale it right up. and I'm going to change the position down. So I'll move it right down to the bottom, and I'm going to scale it so it takes up the whole screen. So what we're going to get, if we have a look at it, we're going to have that brush, and it's going to fill the screen like that. So now what I do is I click on the image of Nathan underneath, and I'm going to go to Effects, and I'm going to bring in Track Matting again. Track Matte, you always drop it on the image underneath. And actually in this case, what I need to do is I think the brush is the one that needs to be underneath. Let's make sure I'll take the track matting off there. I must have done it already. So track matte on the bottom one. Then with the track matte, it says, what do you want to mask? If I go along here, it's going to be V4. And let's have a look. Okay, so you can see now that's the wrong way around. It's actually the body or the paint black stripe inside Nathan. So I do actually need to swap them around. I did have it the right way. Because we want Nathan to be in the paint stroke. So I'll take the track matte off there and bring it onto him. So he's going to be clipped into the other, and you can see it here. His body is clipped. Here we see it coming in, clipped inside the paint stroke. You can differentiate it with a bit of color if need be, but we're going to bring in, actually let's do that. So we'll go color. Color balance. I'm going to chuck it on this image and we'll just a little bit. So we've got that coming in there. So let's bring in the same image again. So go to assembly so I can find the project files. Bring it in, going to offset it slightly again. Going to have to do the ultra. I suppose I could have just copied the other image, but it won't take too long. So I'll just do it like that. I'll just do it quick and dirty. So what I've got under assembly is I've got this thing here that's called clear. And what that is, it's a Photoshop image. There's nothing on it. It's just a single layer that's completely blank, but it's transparent. So what we can do is we can bring that image in. I just have to Command plus up on it so I can see everything because it's just a single frame. Go, snap him back on. And I'll stretch it out a bit, minus down. This time I'm going to put the transition on these two. So if I go effects, video transitions, I'm going to go for iris. I'm going to go for iris round. So this transition is actually Nathan, then the iris appears, and instead of showing or kind of fading to the image beside it, the image beside it is blank. So it's actually going to nothing. And so it shows the image that's below it. And actually just what I'll do is I'll do the ultra this one at the same time, so we can get a better idea of what's going on. The green, check the alpha if I want to go through that whole process. So highlights first, you can see it knocks those bits out. Shadow will pretty much do the rest. And if I want at this stage, I'll just go 50%. I can also come up here to the opacity while I've got the alpha, and I can go, okay, I'm going to add a mask into that. Right. Change it back to composite. And so now we can see the iris dissolve goes to a blank one, which shows the layer underneath. Now, again, if I click on it, I'll get all the things popping up here. You can see it plays it, it'll show it. The center of the cut, what kind of time I want on it. So I'm going to go 0.15. Let's see how fast it goes. Okay, that's good. And you've got a few weird little things, like if you want to put a border on it, you can choose a color and bump a border up. I don't want to do that at the moment. Anti-aliasing, soften the edges if need be. I don't know if we really need to with this image. So we've got all these transitions starting to happen. Let's try another one with this image of the head. So I'll go Command K and move it along a bit. Command K again. And with this image here, I'll go to the effects and I'll just scale it. So it actually looks like it's almost beating the transition when it jumps in there. And I'm going to go back to the one we had before. Whoops, not audio, transitions, video. Transitions. Whoops, where are we? This one here, video transitions. Oh, I need to delete out Ultra so I can see them all. And we've got a strange one here, page peel. Pop that in. Oh, page turn, and then it actually uses the image itself. So what we'll get is, you can see it kind of peeling. Actually, that one doesn't look so good because it's going from large to small. So let's go back to the slide and we'll replace it with whip. Okay, and maybe with that one as well. I'm going to go to this first clip and I'm going to see if I can change the position. You can see it there blurring a wee bit. And with this one, again, try and change the position. So I'm just putting it over the whip so I can see it, but it's got that selected. And then I'll push it to the side. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then this one, I'm not even going to put a transition in. I'll just leave that as it is, minus, and we'll go back to assembly. So we're getting quite a lot of layers and stuff starting to come in now. Control, I'll add a few more tracks. I'm just going to chuck in the kitty one again. It's got the transparency over the top. Move it down. And I'm just going to scale it. And let's see what happens if we put a blank one beside that. So there's one called clear. Pop it in, drag it out a wee bit, and we'll put a transition beside that. Video effects. Let's just try. Actually, I'll just try an Iris one again. This time I'll use the cross. I'll click on it and it says it's just it's at the end of the cut. Let's try it at the center again. Play it. And that one will make it a little bit longer. So it's 1 second. So at this stage we'll say 2.0. And you can see the cross, so the image is there. And then the cross coming up from the center, but we can also reverse that, I think. Yep. Reverse it. And that kind of ties in a little bit with the other images that comes through. What I'll do is I'll just go Shift A and oops. Just A. Shift A. And so just grab these and move them along a little bit, just so it kind of ties and there's not that gap between the other transitions. Okay, and what we can do as well, if I reduce these down a bit, is I can actually go Command A with all of these, and I can go up to the clip and nest it. Let's call it main. So I can double click on that and get into it, but at the moment, all of this now is sitting in one kind of nested file. So with this again, I'm going to bring in the one of the head here, and it looks pretty good. So I'll jump that into there and have it spinning for a bit. It's one underneath. And with this one, I'm going to go and scale it again. So I'll go Effect Controls, Scale. I'll bring in the brush. Switch the eye on so I can see it. So we'll start off by having this at the top off the screen a wee bit. So we're going to have to go into the effects and we're just going to have to keyframe it, position, move along to the end. And grab that. There we go. And move it off the bottom of the screen. So if I move back in the middle here somewhere, I can click on this. I'm going to go to my track mat, and it's looks like it's layer 3. It's a matte alpha. So what we're going to get that head painting on, and I'll just switch off the eye because I forgot to do the ultra again. So go to my ultra again, drag it on, green screen, and if you want to go through the matting, it's not too bad. Whoops. The shadows. Just a wee bit. Right, and we'll go with that. Chuck it back on the composite. Switch on the masking, and you'll see the head appear. We can also, with the track matting, we can inverse it. Get a look better the other way. All of this stuff as well, you can chop it and change it. So even with the brush, I can cut that. So I'll go Command K, and then so this is just the mask, so it's not working with the head at all. And with that, we can, scale it. Probably didn't see that, so I'll change it back. So you can see the scale changing with the mask. We can give it a bit of rotation. We can change the position of it, slightly the brush, and so you're getting a little bit of a change. It straight and then it jumps sideways, and all of these things as well. Again, you can put a transition just on the mask. So with the one underneath, sometimes you don't even need to have a mask. So if this will work with scale. So if I come in here, I can keyframe it. I can move one frame. Scale it up. And let's go. Scale it down. Oh. So with this, I can come, this is on the image of the head now, is I can just go to scale and I'm going to keyframe that. So I've gone 2 frames forward with the arrow keys. Scale it up. 1, 2. Scale it right back down. 1, 2 with the frames. Back up a bit. 1, 2. One, 2. Take it back up to what it was. Reduce that down and let's have a look at it. Let's play. And there's not really doing too much there, so we'll drag that back in. Hit play again, it's just going a bit buggy, it's kind of processing it a bit. Again, you can nest a nest, so we can grab all of this, clip, nest it. So it's a nest inside a nest, and then what I'm going to do is just get part of this, and I'm going to Command K. So at this stage, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a little bit of a flicker. So 1 frame, Command K, 1 frame, okay, Command K, 1 frame with the arrow key, Command K, and again, click on the clip, Command K. I could actually just get the razor tool as well and go along here. And if I want to do a whole lot, which might be a wee bit faster. And so all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go delete, 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 delete. Maybe I'll do that one for 2 frames. Now at the moment it's going to flicker, but it's going to black. So I'm going to bump all of that up. And then I'm going to go to the assembly. Actually, I don't really need to go to assembly, but I'll go up to File, New, Color Matte. Okay, choose a color. Okay, got it. Now I can go to the project window, Color Matte. I don't need to have it all the way across. I just want to get it behind those lines so that when it flickers, it's going to be a flash of pink. Maybe if I pull that one in, and I'll do the same thing again. File, New, Color Matte. I'm going to pick a yellow this time, so that there's a difference in color coming in. So have a look. Get a little flash of yellow. Let's see how it looks. So there's a lot you can do, and with the transitions, you can be reasonably subtle. Oops. And drop it out so we can see the whole thing. Again, all of this could be, you could grab the whole thing and nest it again. So let's go Command M, and usually find the last frame goes black, so just jump it in one. Sequence 6, just check to make sure where it's going. Yep, that's all good. Export, H source, and Q. Encoder, here it is here, so we'll play it. All right, renders through. We'll open a QuickTime. But let's look.